Greetings to you this day. This is Michelle Strickland, and I'm coming to you today with my daily theology lesson. It's my lesson that I do. It's my meditation that I do for myself. I record it and release it because maybe somebody else out there can get something out of it. It's something that I do for myself because I want to be a better principled person. So I focus out of three major religious texts: the Bible, the Quran, and I'm in an introductory paperback book called The Shape of Suffering. It's a Buddhist text. So I rotate those out of those three texts at least twice a week. Let's see, I'm reading it word for word. I'm not going to edit any of the words out or anything like that. I'm just going to read it the way it is. Choose God this day. The bad guys, they sin. The good guys, we sin. We all sin. It's who you serve, It's who you serve. Never give up on yourself. Never, If no one loves you, if you love yourself, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. Find your love. Find your joy. Find your peace. Find your hope. Find it. Find it. If all you have is yourself, you don't have anything else, you have everything. You can always rebuild. That's what I have to tell myself. You can always rebuild. It's rough out here. I know it is. I know it's rough out here, but just stay positive as you can and keep going. The rotation is back at The Shape of Suffering, the Buddhist text. So I only read a little bit at a time out of this text, okay? Because it's so complex. In a nonlinear system, the behavior of the system as a whole is more than the simple sum of the individual behavior of its component part. When such a system is sufficiently large and its members sufficiently interrelated, it can organize itself into new complex patterns of behavior. The interrelations that underlie these patterns often take the form of feedback loops, which are patterns of the sort where A influences B, B influences C, and C influences C. Let me read that again. The interrelations that underlie these patterns often take form of feedback loops, which are patterns of the sort where A influences B, B influences C, and C influences A. In a complex nonlinear system, these feedback loops interact with one another, causing further feedback loops on larger and larger scales. These interactions can either amplify any change occurring in them, causing positive feedback, or they can dampen it, causing negative feedback. And we've all dealt with that. We have. Words can manifest. It's how we put our words together. So this is really, really interesting. An example of positive feedback loop would be the one created by a speaker placed next to a microphone feeding into it. The howl created by this loop simply grows stronger and stronger until the equipment can no longer handle it. An example of a negative feedback loop would be the action of a thermostat that turns off a heater when the temperature in a room is too high and turns it on again when it gets too low. Scientists studying nonlinear systems simplify to observe. Scientists studying nonlinear systems simplify to observe and understand their internal dynamics to tend to be interested in the deterministic side of these systems. The fact that given a certain set of parameter values, the system will invariably behave in a certain way. However, doctors and engineers working with such systems tend to be more interested in their non-deterministic side. The fact that the parameters affecting the system can be adjusted to certain values to achieve a desired effect. In this regard, the Buddha falls clearly into the second category. He taught dependent co-arising, not simplify. He taught dependent co-arising, not simply for its own sake, but to show how its factors can be manipulated to lead to the end of suffering. This is why he argued against strict determination, and why he often compared himself to a doctor curing their illnesses of the mind. Thus, in looking among complex nonlinear systems for usual parallels for dependent co-arising, it is important to focus on the areas where the behavior can be changed. And although not all complex linear systems display the same behavior, many of them provide useful parallels of just this sort. For instance, in some of these systems, the feedback loops are so persistently interconnected that changes caused by a small feedback loop can affect the system very quickly or over longer stretches of time. I'm going to stop right there. Remember to smile this day anyway, and reach out to one person at a time, one person at a time, one person at a time, okay?